Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is your host, the Matt Weinberg, as always, joined by none other than KC, Mr. Showtime Martin. Mr. Showtime, how are you doing today? You're looking glorious. You're looking like the sun is shining on you. You got the spotlight, and I'm going to give it to you. How you doing today, 21?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mr. Showtime's day was amazing. The Matt Weinberg. You know, I just came back from EDC as well, where everybody was sitting there taking pictures with Mr. Showtime, hanging out with Mr. Showtime, you know, all of that good stuff, saying how great I was as well on the show. They also gave you some props too, Mr. Weinberg. So, you know, they gave you some as well. So, yeah, I can't believe, you know, how great it's been. And the ways of the words of what, you know, Ric Flair was saying, man, I've been styling and profiling. That is what I've been doing, the Matt Weinberg. So my day has been amazing. My week has been great.
Very, very glad to hear that, Showtime. You only deserve the best. One should always be jet flying, limousine riding, Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, son of a gun. Woo! Woo! But in other news, what was the best set from EDC, my dude?
Oh, man, dude, I've been asked this a couple of times, you know, and I'm a huge Wooly fan, so awesome set. But I would have to say, for the first time ever, I got to see Troy Boy, and that set blew my mind. Like, if you're an EDM fan, you have not got to see Troy Boy live, it is an amazing experience. And my boy Getter killed it as well. So it was a lot of good stuff, man. It was by far the best EDC I've been to.
Nice. Yeah, I unfortunately had to pay the bills this weekend and go to work. So,
it's expensive.
But yeah, all fun was had though. Still at work. Work was good.
Good.
You know, made it through a little Hurricane Nicole action. So, you know, that was really fun. Had to work during that. That was really kind of stupid, but
at least it wasn't Hurricane Martin. That would have been worse.
Hurricane Martin?
Yeah, that one went up to Europe. So there was a Martin as well. And I was like, that would be great. Hurricane Martin would be the one to take me out.
Yeah, I think the last big hurricane was Hurricane Matthew. So,
yeah.
I'll take blame for that. It's okay. All right. Well, you guys kind of got caught up on our situations. Give a little bit of housekeeping. Apologies for no episode last week. Showtime was traveling. I was working. Then we got hit with a hurricane. There was some personal stuff going on as well. And we just couldn't make schedule work. So in lieu of that, we have decided to try and move the podcast release days from Mondays to Fridays, which will give us basically up until Thursday every single week to record. Instead of trying to do it like every single Monday, sometimes it just don't work. So with that being said, thank you for your patience as we figure this out. We're still realizing that this, I think, is episode 8 or 9 or something like that. So we haven't even hit double digits yet.
Nope.
And we haven't even hit double digits, and we're still top 150 wrestling. Actually, sorry, that's right. 150 sports podcasts in the land of the podcast realms. So with that being said, if you're not down with that, you're a jabroni, and that's the bottom line. I know I just went 300 different ways on you, but that's how we do it here. So, with that being said, Showtime. What the hell is going on with Triple H and having Austin Theory lose a cash-in on the U.S. Championship belt after it was already decided that it was going to be an open challenge? That is just, is Austin Theory dead?
I mean, I think that it's time to rehabilitate Austin Theory. So if you guys have ever watched Austin Theory back in the day, he had an amazing character. He's a great heel. And I think what Vince was doing was making him super cheesy. And you just weren't going to be able to go in and cash in on a belt and make him serious and people care. So I think it was the right way to go. It sucks for Austin Theory, man. He's such an amazing guy, dude. And he's a great wrestler. And he's super young. So there's still a lot of time for him. But I think that's the right way to go, man, unfortunately, is to have him try to cash in, not make it work, switch him up to be an actual serious heel, build credibility, and then you go against him as now the good big heel compared to Seth, the babyface, and now you can beat him for that title. And now you take that away from having to make it that he has to cash in at that point. Because remember, we're moving Money in the Bank to WrestleMania now. So you got to get rid of the belt. You got to get rid of that before you get to WrestleMania to then start the cycle back over. Sucks for Austin Theory, man. He's a great wrestler for sure.
But in comparison to him, like the last month, it feels like teasing that he was going to cash in on Braun Breaker down in NXT.
Yep.
Like, why not pull that trigger instead? If you have to rehabilitate him, why not bring him down, let him rehabilitate, let people forget about who he is, but still let him help build NXT a little bit more, and then rehab him back up into anything else. Like, I feel like they just wasted the last, 8 months, and in reality, it's now giving a lot of dirt sheet people and a lot of people like us the ability to say, hey, Triple H is just fixing a Vince McMahon mistake.
Yep. 1,000%. I think that you're right. I would have liked to see him go to NXT and take the belt. I've been thinking about that for a while. I think the reason why they didn't go that route is because they are severely understaffed when it comes to good heels. So if you take Austin Theory away from TV as a heel, one of your other higher end heels, then I feel like you need to move somebody up. Now, you don't have to move Braun. You can move somebody else up. But if you move Braun Breaker up and move Austin down, now I think Braun has to become in as a heel. And I don't think that works out for where they have for Braun Breaker. But I would have loved to see the cash in.
Yeah. I mean, I truly believe that he should have cashed in on Braun, and they could have done something different with Braun for a little bit. Yep. Now, I don't think that he's going to be a heel anytime soon. I think he'll get there one day, just like Papa Steiner. But
Big Papa Pump.
It's different. But yeah, I don't understand the move. Although I have to respect it in a way. I am very interested to listen or actually have the conversation with him myself. Like, Hunter, what was the thought process there? Was it literally just to fix Vince's mistake? Or was there something greater? And I think that we'll find that out later.
I think Austin takes the belt from Seth. I really do. I think that still happens.
It'll be interesting because there's been lots of talk of the Hurt Business getting back together.
Yep.
And Bobby's intertwined with that title right now. Cedric Alexander's free. MVP is free. It makes sense to do that now. And you can build that up to go against the Bloodline or Judgment Day or something like that whenever this is there, or you can just have them do their thing.
The Hurt Business would be a great against the Bloodline. I would love to have seen, instead of the Brawling Brutes, have the Hurt Business and then do the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium. That, to me, would have been, like those two would have been great War Game matches.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing though is, like, if you look at the War Games aspect, it's cool to see people do it. It's an insane event. But do you continue doing the same people in those War Game matches because they're going to put on a good show, or do you add in new people? Like with the Bloodline, I don't think any of them have ever been in the War Games match. Maybe Sami Zayn.
No,
maybe no. Sami wasn't.
It was War Games win in NXT either.
Right? So, like, the Brawling Brutes, I don't think they've been in one either, but, like, they have more experience with it. Maybe Pete Dunne was in it. Whereas comparison, like, to the women's, most of them have been in the War Games match. Io has been in one. Dakota's been in one. Johnny Gargano's wife, I can't remember her name right now, Candice LeRae. Yeah, I'm very, very sorry. I just remembered it that way. Has been in one. So, like, we're probably going to get two different matches, and I'm leaning more towards the women's being a better match right now, just because there is more experience in there. They know what to expect, and they can choreograph, if you will, a better match. Even though they would be going up against, quite frankly, some of the greatest minds in the company right now, being Paul, Roman, the Usos, Sammy, McIntyre, Sheamus, we'll see.
I don't know. That's going to be a tough one, man. I think that, look, anything that Pete Dunne is in, I think it's going to be amazing. So I would never count any match out as long as Pete Dunne is in this match. I think it's going to be very interesting. But to your point, it's going to be the women. I'm really interested to see if they add more people, right? Because I think they need 5 altogether, and I don't think both sides have 5. I'm pretty sure the baby faces need one more person. So if that is the case, then that's a whole different ballgame of who they bring in.
Well, so let's bring into that situation. So if we play the roulette, of who can come back, who cannot come back, I don't think Charlotte's coming back, and especially not as a babyface, because Bianca is a babyface. So I would say Naomi could possibly come back here. And I say that because Mercedes Verando has actually updated all of her social media profiles to add in an FKA Sasha Banks, which is formerly known as Sasha Banks. So does that mean that Sasha has signed with New Japan and is doing stuff over there, and she's no longer able to wrestle as Sasha? Or is she done? Just done, moving on to other projects. We know that she is Mandalorian cast as part of the Mandalorian season 3, so she's doing that. So maybe she's in more Star Wars stuff. You don't know what's going to happen with that. Maybe she's getting some more roles. So I could see a babyface Naomi just coming back and being inserted into that aspect just to give her a stage. But if she's going to come back and do something that has to do with War Games, I'd rather her come and join the Bloodline.
Yep. No, I'm with you on that. I think that is a great way to go. From the dirt sheets and people I've talked to, Naomi has already been backstage, so she's coming back in with her husband Jimmy. So she has been backstage with Jimmy when they come. They've both been coming together for a couple of weeks now. So that could definitely be the way to go. I think Naomi coming back is going to be awesome. I think it's just a matter of time. I think Sasha is the bigger draw, obviously, here, if they could get Sasha to come back in for this show. But if not, then yeah, I would definitely say Naomi's going to be your best bet at this point, because no, you're not going to get a Charlotte. And obviously we know Becky's still out as well. So you're running out of women unless they pull in some NXT people, which it wouldn't make sense at this point to do that.
No, it wouldn't make any sense with the direction that they were going. If they kept it 3-on-3, I definitely could see that. But you don't know, because with what's going on with Alexa Bliss and the Bray Wyatt packaging, something like that could snap her and she could be gone. Yeah. And then now you need 2 more people in that match, which could lead to Gigi,
JC.
And JC, and having Mandy just kind of being there. Or like Mandy going like champion to champion and saying, hey, I can give you Gigi and JC for this match, but I want a title shot. Title versus title for the next, blah, blah, blah.
At some point, you got to move them up. Toxic Attraction has outgrown NXT. Sad to say, because I love seeing them when they are there, but they have definitely outgrown it. My only scare is, I love Gigi to death, but she gets hurt way too often. I would not want to see her in a War Games match just because she's been prone to injury a couple of times, and man, it's going to be scary. But here's the thing, though. I don't think that's going to happen anyway, because Gigi and JC are in the NXT Deadline Survivor match. Mm-hmm. So I can't see them doing both. I think JC could hold it down. I just don't know if Gigi would be able to do both of them.
Yeah, I mean, and there's definitely different plans going on. We're just talking this way because that's my dream War Games match was the 3-on-3-on-3. It's not going to happen.
That would have been awesome. I thought that was the way we were going for a while, and then obviously they changed it afterwards. But that would have been seeing Toxic Attraction up there. The times they've been up there have been awesome. I do want to see how Mandy does on the main roster coming back after NXT, though. That's going to be interesting to see how fans, with the new way she's going, is going to look. The funny part is in NXT the other day, she was sporting a Nikki Bella look, which was also very weird, with the hat backwards and stuff. So, I know Nikki gifted her with the Rag Attack and some other stuff, but like that's intriguing to see.
Nikki even like retweeted it and was like fearless and was like the eyes like darting emoji. And I'm like, ooh, maybe Nikki comes back to face Mandy. That would be interesting.
That would be amazing.
That would be really interesting. I would be very intrigued to see that. There has been rumors of an all-female show coming to WWE, whether that's a paid live event or we get something like an AEW Dark situation where it's on YouTube or something like that. There has been thoughts about that, and that would be a really cool main event of some sort for that event.
And, don't forget that there's been talks about a King of the Ring coming back as well. So that could be another big one for the women to do that too. Or Queen of the Ring, I guess, for that.
Which I do just want to say, I did predict that in our like second or third episode that King of the Ring should come back. So, Paul, stop playing hard to get. Slide in my DMs. We'll have a couple conversations. It's okay. We'll go work out because I'm not gonna say like let's go for a drink. Let's go for a squat sesh.
You only you, Matt. Only you.
So let's just stay on the women. I can't. Showtime, can you please take over for a second?
Yeah, so when we go back to the women's side of things, I think that for us, it's going to be very interesting to see how War Games all comes together. I think we're like, 2 weeks out or something like that. So, really just trying to understand which route they're going to take and who the extra people are going to be. It's going to be really interesting for us. But I think overall, man, I am very happy with Triple H's decision to start condensing a lot of these things down. So War Games with Survivor Series now makes me care about Survivor Series because I have not cared about a Survivor Series show in years because it's the same thing over and over again. The men get to the end. You get one person like Dolph. I think Cena was one time, Seth, and they fight till their life is over, and then they lose. It's been the same thing over and over again for like the last 5 years. So this makes it very intriguing.
Have they announced a normal Survivor Series match?
Nope. Not at all. I don't think there is going to be one, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I don't think they have anybody left. They don't have anybody to put in it, to be honest.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I would like to, I was really hoping, and they'll probably do it next year, they'll do a Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT again. That was a cool version of that.
They should bring in NXT and do an NXT versus main roster, maybe, because the women, you don't have that much left after War Games. So maybe you mix the women together as main roster versus NXT. Same with the men. Obviously, you have more men, but same with the men. You could do that as a match because it'd be nice to see how some of these NXT people go, but also to show the world what some of these NXT people can do as well would be great. Maybe next year. I'm with you.
I mean, all I'm saying is maybe next year you get Ray and Dominic together versus Legado.
Oh, that'd be a
Team
good
Mysterio
one.
Versus Team Legado, because you also have Ray's daughter there in the Performance Center too.
That would be a good one, man. I'm interested to see how the Mysterio, the Santos thing actually, if it ever works out together. I am very interested to see how that one is going to be. I hope Triple H capitalizes on having Rey Mysterio in the same brand as Santos. Like, I hope so.
Yeah, I think they will, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think you need to build up Legado a little bit more before that happens because they need to be their own people, especially Santos, with how great and how loved he was down in NXT. But also, you need Rey. You need time for people to forget. Like, Rey kind of just chickened out and wouldn't want to fight his son, which I get it. Like,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you basically cried for the last 2 months on TV and then just ran away to another brand, in a way,
Yeah. What if they're doing this because he's going to retire? So maybe they go to him versus Santos all the way to WrestleMania. And then after that, you go back to him versus his son, Dominic, and that's his retirement. I don't know how long Rey has left. I mean, Rey is aging backwards, so I don't really even know how old he is now. He might be like 17 right now. He looks about 17.
But that's the thing is, I think if you have that type of match, like, you have Dominic versus Rey at Mania.
True,
and
I'm
that's
with you on that.
and that's his final match.
But is Dominic ready? I don't know if he's ready yet. Like, he's got better. I think Judgment Day is really helping his character grow. He's getting that. But
you're not doing that. You're not doing it this year at Mania. You're doing it next year at Mania.
Next year,
so you're gonna do a WrestleMania 40.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Have they announced where it is next year?
I believe it is in Philadelphia. If I had a friend of mine that was talking about WrestleMania, and they live in Philadelphia area.
No, because that would be interesting if they did it like in Texas.
Yeah, they won't be back to Texas for a minute.
Yeah,
they've been back to Texas. It's been 5 years in between, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Yeah, but they're also supposed to do Orlando like every 3 years. So if they do LA, then Philly, then we'll get Orlando for 41.
Yeah, it is Philadelphia.
Okay, cool. That'd be interesting.
I don't know if he would.
I don't know if he would end his career in Philly though.
I don't think anybody wants to end their career in Philly. Although they have a great crowd, though. I will give it to Philly. Always has a great crowd. They always come out. So, I mean, I don't know.
Here's what I would pitch. Right here is my pitch. The Judgment Day goes and does their thing. Let them do what they're going to do. Something breaks in either Dominic or them, and Dominic has to go find himself again because of his relationship with Rey and not working out. Let's just say that, right? When you go through a breakup, you go find yourself. He then remembers that he's a luchador at heart. He puts a mask on, starts becoming a luchador, does all the luchador things, blah, 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 and is trying to get back into the good graces of the family, the good graces of his father, now that he's realized that he was in a toxic relationship or all that sort of stuff. Because the whole entire purpose of this is trying to bring out real life inside of these storylines, right?
And he's Eddie Guerrero's son.
He's not Eddie Guerrero's son.
Just saying, you put Eddie and him together next to each other, or you put him and Rey together. No. You think
Rey Mysterio's wife was canoodling with Eddie Guerrero on the side?
I think that maybe they could have adopted. I don't know. I don't know that part of it. All I know is Dominic is 17 feet taller than the rest of his entire family, and he looks like Eddie Guerrero. I'm just saying.
He doesn't look like Eddie Guerrero. He looks like Rey, just with a mullet.
I mean, Eddie Guerrero wore a mullet. I'm just saying.
You know that whole entire purpose is just so you believe that storyline.
There's a lot of stories though that come out that could be halfway true. I don't know.
So then eventually it gets to the point where Santos is now interested in the other luchador in WWE. You can have Dominic versus Santos, which gets Rey's attention. Rey then has to decide what to do, help his son, or let his son learn this lesson alone. He lets his son learn the lesson alone, which causes Dominic to go after Ray again, but Ray's not ready for that conversation because he supposedly learned his lesson. And then you're luchador versus luchador at Mania in a mask off match. Like, you have to remove the mask in order to win.
I mean, I think that's where Ray wanted to go. He had a mask,
yeah.
and I think he was going to have him as Prince Mysterio, I believe. And WWE decided not to have him with a mask on.
Yeah. So I think that's the way to go. I mean, you almost have like an opposite of Sami Zayn's career, because Sami Zayn started off in the mask and now he's no longer in the mask. So that's my pitch. I was not expecting that today. That just came off the top of my head. So that's fantastic.
That's good.
But
booking.
yeah, getting into good booking, Mia Yim has joined the club. What are your thoughts on this one?
So I'm very disappointed because I know that Rhea and Raquel were doing their thing on the live events. So I was really excited to see Raquel come in. They do this thing where they both hold up one of the men before doing a superplex together, right? So I was really excited to see that strength versus strength. And I love Raquel. Obviously, I love Rhea as well. Mia Yim coming in just does not fit for me. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Nothing against her. I think she's an incredible wrestler, but she doesn't match. Like, there's nothing that shows why I would want to see Mia Yim versus Rhea Ripley. Like, I don't understand what the purpose of that was or why they went to that over Raquel that they've been doing live events with the entire time.
I think Mia Yim just more fits the vibe of the club.
That's fair. But she's an oddball. She doesn't look good with them. I don't know. Not a fan.
I mean, I thought she looked good, but with them,
she got no pop at all.
Yeah, that pop was terrible. It was depressing. In some more depressing news, we already talked about Kevin Owens is out. Luckily, it's not as bad as it was originally reported. It was reported as an MCL tear. Now it's reported as an MCL sprain, so that's good. But someone who did actually tear an ACL is Logan Paul. Logan Paul confirmed after his match with Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel that he did tear his ACL. So hopefully he'll be back in time to join his brother Jake Paul against the Usos at Mania.
That would be awesome. I mean, an ACL tear, though, man, that is a terrible way to go. Like, I have sprained my MCL, kind of like what is going on with KO, and it sucked. I was in crutches for, I think, 2 weeks. I did it during track season. So it does suck. It hurts. But an ACL is a whole nother ball game, man. And a lot of people don't come back the same after that, especially with how explosive Logan Paul is and the athleticism that he has. It's going to be a tough road for him. But, I mean, if anybody can do it, if he has determination, hopefully he'll be back by WrestleMania. But that means he would be coming back on WrestleMania. I don't think he can make it anytime before that.
So I tore my meniscus about a year ago, and it took about 8 to 9 months to recover. I decided not to do surgery because the doctor said I shouldn't go through surgery because I had a clean tear, so it would just heal naturally.
Yep.
And by passion, I've been powerlifting for 15, 20 years. So I'm now about a year out from my injury, and I'm just now starting to get back into my routine. So it's not going to be an easy task for Logan. An ACL injury, I have had ACL injuries before as well. They're not easy, but if someone can do it, it's definitely going to be him, who has the resources, has the time, has the technology, all that sort of stuff to do that. I mean, John Cena did a torn clavicle, which is a 9-month return, and he did it in 6. It was the fastest anyone's ever returned from that injury, so with that being said, I'm sure Logan can find a way to do something like that. I mean, we are 6 months out from Mania, so there's definitely plenty of time. And with what they tease with the Usos, you can have Jake against, Jimmy, once, or something like that, or have an angle where they can continue the storyline and just have Logan be there as a presence. In crutches or something like that, you can even blame the Usos on that or the bloodline for him tearing his ACL. So you can even have that continue, just little bits and pieces here and there, which is something I would say is cool. And while we're on the topic of the Usos, just congratulations to the Usos becoming the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions of all time. Currently, I believe it is 487 days and counting. Unbelievable. I did the math, though. They would have to continue holding the belts past Mania to have it for a full 2 years.
Gotcha.
So I don't think they'll make it to
time.
the 2 year mark. I don't think they'll make it to the 2 year mark, but good on them. It's been incredible to watch, especially their journey and all that sort of stuff. And we already alluded to, or we didn't. That was conversations before we went on air. Was about their journey to the top versus the New Day to the top in that promo from last week on Raw. So it's great. Do you have anything to sprinkle in there, Showtime? I feel your mouth just ready to open up and burst with some greatness.
No, man, I think that, between the Usos, it's been an incredible run for them. I've always said that you got to bring somebody in to really challenge them. I don't know who that's going to be. I thought Logan Paul, Jake would be it, or KO and Sammy would be the way to go. And I think if you do KO and Sammy, you do it at WrestleMania. As well, but man, it's gonna be a tough one for them. But somebody credible has to pop up. I don't think it can be any tag team that's there right now to take it away from them. You like the KO Sammy thing, don't you? Yeah, that's a good one.
So I do believe that should be a thing, but I also do like the Jake and Logan Paul thing, because then you have twins versus twins in a way. I don't know if Jake and Logan are twins. I just assume that I assume that they could make that happen, though, if you really wanted to. The only thing that would deter that is the aspect of Solo. How does Solo get involved? How does Sammy get involved? That sort of stuff. So that's where I believe the best way to do that would be to have Sammy turn, bring in KO, then you have a triple threat match. Or do it as a ladder match or something like that to make it different. Sammy has a lot of experience with celebrity matches, with the match that he did with Johnny Knoxville as well. So, and that match was supposed to be terrible. Everyone thought it was going to be terrible, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was really fun to watch. So you could 100% do that. That's in Sammy's wheelhouse. That allows the spotlight to not be so much on the fact that Logan and Jake are there. And it allows the Usos to shine also, because they have a legitimate contender, and you can even maybe add in another one. I don't know who you would add in, probably someone up and coming, or someone that you want to strap a rocket to. Would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're good. I like the Logan Paul, Jake Paul thing. I just don't think Logan's going to be ready in time.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I think Logan could have that match being 80 to 90%, which seems pretty like it could happen by that time frame, which is why I would say a triple threat, because if Logan needs a break, you could have one of the 5 other people in that match and not one of the other 3 people in the match. Or, like I said, you can add in a 4th or a 5th tag team, make it a ladder match, something like they did when the Hardy Boys came back and won the tag team champions. You could totally do something like that, and even to the point of if you add in a 4th and you have a Solo Sikoa also there, you can have a Big E come in and help with that Solo Sikoa factor. but no idea what the Big E time frame would be right now. I haven't even begun to look into it because that man just needs to take all the time in the world that he needs, and neck injuries are neck injuries, and that's 100, and that's really serious.
He's getting it checked out at the beginning of the year, from what he was saying. So they won't look back at it again until the beginning of the year, and then you'll go from there. Hopefully, Big E comes back though, because he is definitely missed.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it would be a little bit different right now if you had Big E. I know we had Big E versus Roman at the beginning of Roman's reign. Yep. I love saying that. I'm not like 100%. That's why his name is Roman Reigns, right?
Maybe.
So, and I think Roman is in a completely different stratosphere right now, and I think a returning Big E could match that. As especially if Big E goes back to the Big E Langston version of him and brings back the 5 count, that would be epic. Because the 5 count Big E took no shit. And Roman takes no shit. So that would be really cool. And you can even have the New Day go up against the Usos and blah, 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 that sort of stuff. But yeah, we should just have a sit down conversation about WrestleMania and just talk about all these matches, because the next stuff I want to talk about is Mania. Because even though I'm sick of it, even though I said that we weren't going to talk about it anymore, why are we continuing to talk about CM Punk? Why? But the latest in the craziness that is CM Punk is that Triple H wants CM Punk back in the WWE. Dirt sheets are flowing. There's rumors swirling. Your boy has been contacted by the peoples. CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 39 is the match that was pitched. There's also rumors of John Cena at WrestleMania. We've heard John Cena versus Austin Theory. We've had John Cena versus Seth Rollins. We've had John Cena versus CM Punk. We've had John Cena versus Stone Cold. Ooh. I could go another day without seeing CM Punk in the ring again. I can go another day without seeing Stone Cold in the ring again, even though Stone Cold is my favorite of all time. My initial thought to this match was, this is the match where I'm going to go make my beer run on. Showtime, what about you?
I'm the same, man. I'm just over the CM Punk thing. You know, like I don't get the hype of it either. I thought that, you know, he did a really good job in WWE. No disrespect to his wrestling ability and that, he was an awesome wrestler. But this comeback to AEW has been just sad, to be honest with you. I don't think he's lived up to where he could have been before because he took so much time off. Going to WWE does nothing for anybody. Like, I don't see how this helps anybody out by him coming to WWE. By all means, I don't want him to mess up his money. So, hey, if you're going to get paid, go get paid and take that money. But I don't want to see it. I just don't. I don't have a reason. I didn't like anything he's done in the AEW. I didn't think he wrestled that good in AEW.
Yeah. Well, he's old now.
So, yeah. So what's the point? What's the point?
You know what would be interesting? If they played this like WCW. If they played this as, this is the long haul. Punk and I got into it back before the pipe bomb. Or we not got into it, but we staged this whole entire thing where he was going to leave. He was going to go away for a while. He was going to infiltrate a competitor that was supposed to be New Japan at the time, because AEW wasn't a thing at the time, right? And try to take it down from the inside once he got to the top. Then we were going to bring him back home. Like, they could totally play that whole entire thing, and it would be insane. But that because that's the only way I could see Triple H wanting to bring him back, is to either right that wrong or to do something that wasn't done originally in that storytelling, or to try and do something new of like, hey, this is planned espionage. You know, I remember one time on an episode of the Wrestling Burrito that we did, we had pitched an idea of Roman being released from WWE and going around the world to prove that he was the best wrestler and the best entertainer on the planet, and doing kind of what Drew McIntyre did, but still being a part of WWE for the long haul, and then eventually bringing him back and putting him on the map, right? So you could totally do something like that and just say, yeah, this was the plan the whole entire time. He wanted to do MMA. He wanted to do this. He wanted to do that. So we let him do it, just like we did with Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. But the whole entire thing was we sent him into these agencies to be a double agent and to try and take it down from the inside. He couldn't do it in MMA because it was a little bubble because he sucked, but he was able to successfully do it at AEW, if you want to say, if you will. And this is the war now. Like, Tony, you wanted war. This is war. This is what happens.
I don't know, man. I think I love the way you come up with certain things. And, Triple H, if you're listening, please start listening more to the Matt Weinberg. He's dropping knowledge on you, dropping gems all the time from it. I have nothing to say about that, man. I love the way you went about it. I think that you got to figure out a way to tell a great story, and also, just say big F you to AEW throughout of it. And I think that's the way you do it. And I know that in a WWE locker room, CM Punk's not getting away with what he did in AEW. I don't think that would ever happen. Like, you're not going to come in there and do the things you did in AEW or talk the way you did in AEW. You're not going to do that in WWE because these guys would murder you.
Well, here's also the thing. Do you have Punk come back for Roman? Or, I mean, not necessarily for Roman, but for Roman because of Paul. Do you have that Paul Heyman guy versus Paul Heyman guy battle again because you had it with Lesnar? Or could you even do like a triple threat with Heyman versus Heyman versus Heyman?
That, you know what? I was waiting to see where you were going to go when you're going to bring up the Paul Heyman thing. I was waiting, man. I knew the Matt Weinberg was going to come up with another gem.
Because
that's
the Matt Weinberg is 2022 Paul Heyman. No, I am an annoying Jew. So that's what happens. I love Paul Heyman. I respect him. He's the reason why I wanted to get behind the microphone and the camera in the first place. So I would love to see that, I think. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you tell that story. I would have to figure that out, but I think it's a cool blue sky project, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that, dude, you're going to gems. I think that if you do that way, you're awesome. I can't see WWE doing another option at this point. Book him, Triple H. Book him.
Okay. And things, that just, when your happiness meter is just at full, that's how I felt right then. Thank you. And in some other crazy Triple H ideas, it was reported that Triple H was the reason that Team Angle broke up. And he was apparently out of jealousy of their rise to fame, that it took them a lot quicker than it was for DX and all that to rise up. So what is your thought on that? That Papa H decided to take down another faction behind the scenes. And this is before Triple H was the prominent role in the company. This was just when he was still up and coming superstar. Like, he was already like top tier in the locker room and all that sort of stuff, but it wasn't like he was today where he was heavy creative.
It's true. It's very true. Dude, I don't know, man. Dude, why you spit so much fire today?
I don't know. It must have been the cheese sticks I had before. Who is the brain fuel? It might just be because I'm floating. We were not yesterday, but the day before I was at the gym late night, and I looked up and I saw this mountain of a man, and I swear to God, it was Karrion Kross. So now I'm just excited to go to the gym and possibly see Karrion Kross there at night. So I'm jazzed. I'm jazzed on life, Showtime. I am so jazzed that I pay attention to what's going on in the world of everything and anything that can be wrestling and quite possibly is wrestling. And if you think of wrestling, you think of one person 9 times out of 10, and that person is Chris Jericho. And did you know that Chris Jericho possibly was on The Masked Singer last week?
There's no way.
There was a way. And immediately, like, the judges were like, oh my God, it's a guy. Oh my God, it's a rock guy. And like within 3 seconds, you could tell it's Chris Jericho, but the whole entire crowd has no idea. So what are your thoughts on that? Are you a fan of Chris Jericho? Let me see this. Let's see if I can find this audio real quick. This will be a first time ever. Let's go. Oh, never mind. Commercial break real quick. So I was actually going to open up the show with this and just be like, hey, listen.
No, it is Chris Jericho, man. That's awesome. I think that is a great way to get something else.
What?
That sounds like some techno stuff.
This is not what I wanted. Sadness. Okay, so first and foremost, here is the dinosaur that
is in a wedding dress.
Yes. Okay. So let's see. I swear I sent this to you or someone.
It wasn't me.
Oh, you know who it was? I was talking to Coach Jay. That's who it was.
Nah.
Here we go.
What kind of? My male friend.
This is not. This is terrible. This is terrible. Terrible.
You're messing up, man. You're messing up, man.
The video is unavailable now. Oh my goodness. This is just sad. I'm so sad right now. I can't. It's terrible. Oh, that's just where he just does the reveal. Never mind, people. I will find this video for you. It's amazing, and you can tell it's Chris Jericho in a dinosaur wedding dress within like 3 seconds. So that's all the news I have for you today, all the stuff that we have to talk about today together. So it is now time. You've seen it on the social medias.
Yeah.
And I'm just as confused as I always am with these rankings. It is time for Mr. Showtime's Power 5. Showtime.
Oh, yeah.
The mic, the camera, the people of the Showtime podcast family are all yours. Start out. Who's number 5?
All right, you guys. As always, we come to you with the Power 5 from Mr. Showtime. Let's go ahead and do it. So the Matt Weinberg, number 5. Unfortunately, he just got hurt, but I have Rey Mysterio. This man has been on fire lately, moving over to SmackDown, going against Gunther, being in the top. You know, when you're doing it, I'm amazed by as old as Ray is and the age of him, how well he's still performing. He's at a top level all the time, and every time I see him, he has that. Number 4, I have a new one for you, the man Weinberg, Shibata. This was the first time that I have been able to see Shibata actually wrestle, and oh my God, that man it really looks like he's the next Bruce Lee. I mean, he is scary. I've heard all the rumors about him. Awesome guy. I hope to see him more in the United States on AEW, doing some more things. I know he just came back from some injuries and stuff. So, man, Shibata has been awesome. Definitely a huge fan of them now. Number 3, we're going to go with the longest reigning tag team, and that is the Usos. Man, again, we've already talked about that. Congratulations to the Usos. They are the ones. Everybody else is the twos. The next one we go with is Sammy Guevara. Like, dude, I've known Sammy is a very talented person, but watching him go up against Daniel Bryan had by far to me has been one of the best matches I've seen from him. He pulled out all the stops. It was an amazing match. And I'm going to actually combine this with number one being Daniel Bryan. So those two guys, man, they put on an actual slobber knocker. D. Matt Weinberg, what you got?
Side note, it's Bryan
Yes.
Danielson.
Oh, yeah, Bryan Danielson. My bad. So used to saying Daniel Bryan. My bad. Don't hurt me for that. All right.
I don't know who this Daniel Bryan person is.
Yes,
I do know a Bryan Danielson. I know sometimes the Showtime gets confused.
That's true. I mean, it's so hard because all they did was change his name around. Like, I mean, it did something that they completely changed his name, but they went from Daniel Bryan to Bryan Danielson. Like, I get it. It's his name, but
his actual name is Bryan Danielson.
I know, but it's so close to the old one. I need them to fix it. But no, man, it was an awesome show. I think that I'm really blown away again by Shibata being the first time that you see him. The Daniel Bryan, Sammy was amazing. The Usos and just what they've been able to accomplish. Excuse me, especially when you look at how they have been when they first came in. And just over time, how they've been able to reinvent themselves to where they are at now has been something amazing altogether. And then lastly, obviously Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is Rey Mysterio. The man looks the same as when I watched him in WCW and everywhere else. Like, I don't know how he continues to be as great as he is. And it seems like he gets even better each year.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Bryan Danielson has been one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet for the last couple of years. It's about time that he gets recognition that he deserves on that stage. I personally don't like Sammy Guevara, so I'm not going to say anything about that. I do believe that the Usos deserve to be higher, though. Longest reigning tag team champs of all time, and you're talking number 3 on the list. You're insane. I also do believe that Shibata should be up higher on the list. I think that return was great. It proved that he is one of the best strikers in the planet, and he looks like an absolute stud right now, and it makes you want to go watch more stuff in Japan. And Ray's Ray. Ray's in the perfect spot. So I was hoping that you would explain the reasonings behind this a little bit further, because I did not understand the Usos at number 3.
So because of slobber knocker, I mean, Usos being number 3, here's how you look at it. I think the reign is awesome, but WWE kind of gave it away already that they were going to be fighting the New Day. So you kind of ruined it from the beginning when they got into the pay-per-view. I thought that the Usos, we knew what that was going to happen. We kind of knew where they were going to go once they beat the New Day as well. So it wasn't a shocker. Like that, there was no surprise for the Usos making it that much. But when you look at Daniel Bryan and again, Sammy, I think that those two, Daniel Bryan's one of the top wrestlers ever. But Sammy Guevara, showed. I'm not a huge fan of him either, but that match was an absolute banger. And I think that because of that, that is why you put them where they are. Shibata, I can see that, though. I could definitely, we can move Shibata up and down. I'm not mad at you for that as well, by any means for it. But that was only one match. So I want to see him do a little bit more before we can move him up a little bit more, All
right.
I feel you on that, Matt. I feel you on that.
All right. One last question for you. AEW Full Gear is this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So who do you have? MJF or Jon Moxley for the AEW World Heavyweight Champion?
That's a good question. I think at this point, you have to go with MJF. You've been pushing this off for over and over again, and I think at some point it's going to get stale and old when he continues to blow people away on the mic, but then doesn't back it up with anything else. I think that this is a perfect time to move to MJF, and if Tony is smart about it, he moves to MJF, and then now we see a shift in AEW towards a different platform, a different way of going, a different, route than where they were before, because you can't keep going back to Jon Moxley. Not that anything's against Moxley. I'm not a huge fan of him, but you can't continue to go back. to him. You have to start moving forward and stop telling people this is the place where wrestling can be wrestling and you get to see all the people that you never get to see in WWE, but you continue to put WWE people as your title champion. Like, I don't understand the concept of that. How are you building stars when you're just taking the stars already been there?
Interesting. I mean, I do believe that Mox has done a good job of separating his former life. I think he's done a very good job of that. You know, and especially now that Renee is with AEW, she does help that out a lot as well. So I agree. I do believe that MJF should take the title. Mox deserves the break that he should have gotten originally before the all-out brawl, or if one would say brawl out. So let him lose, let him take a break, let him come back healthier, and give some other people time to shine. You know, we haven't seen Miro on TV in 6 months. He's had four matches in 2 years. You know, so let's do something with all these people that you've just been hoarding. You know, it would have been cool to see Adam Cole now come up into this position. So hopefully he's working on getting healthy and coming back soon. So that would be pretty cool to see. I know you just talked about, you know, we shouldn't have WWE people in AEW, but the thing is that at the end of the day, you have to realize that it's talent. And talent's talent no matter where they came from or no matter where they're going. You got to give people what they want to see. And you have all this talent, you have all this money in it. You're not using it. Sorry, but that's a waste of money in my eyes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you got Daniel Bryan, again, that has been flirting with the title, but never got it close at all. So you got a lot of people that you can go to from it. And, I mean, God, give Jon Moxley his vacation. Dude was supposed to go on vacation. You took him away from it, and now you're continuing on. Like, give the man a break. Let him go chill for a little bit so he can come back. Hopefully by that time, you get Kenny Omega coming back a little bit stronger and better.
Omega.
And then you move on to what's next for it. I mean, I think at this point, AEW has to do a shift. They've been pretty much staying the same for 3 years. Not much changing with them at all. Use the talent you have, build the people up, and get rid of some talent you don't use. Let them go to Impact. Let them go somewhere else. Build up some other companies and move on from them.
I got nothing else to say. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending your time with us. Showtime, thank you for finding a way to fit in the Showtime podcast family into your busy and hectic schedule this week. I know you must be going crazy doing EDC, doing Riot Pro Wrestling, doing all the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend a little time with me and the podcast fam.
I love the fans. Love the fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor and a pleasure as always. If you are not, please follow us on social media. It's Showtime Wrestling on all your favorite social medias. You're already watching this on YouTube. If you're not, go find us on YouTube at It's Showtime Wrestling. As always, leave a 5-star review down below. That is what helps us grow the most. And as always, if you don't know what time it is,
it's showtime.